different baskets. This is using some old retired designer series paper that I absolutely loved. It's great for weddings. This would make a great bridal shower basket. But this is the largest size. And then this medium size is using one of the Celebration Designer Series papers, the Berry Delightful Designer Series paper. I had a pack left over from Celebration for that, so I did that little basket. And you can see, because I'm using Designer Series paper, the inside is also pretty. And then this is the small one, and for this small one I had used some of the Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper that goes with the Art Gallery the Art Gallery stamp set. That is my customer appreciation class for the month. So we're going to put these guys aside right now, and I'm going to show you how quick and easy this really is. And you really only need a couple of things. You need some Designer Series paper. Again, I'm going to use the Fine Art Floral, and this doesn't really have a direction to it. If I were to use it, I would probably use it like this orientation, but it really doesn't. You know, flowers grow all sorts of different ways, and this really doesn't have an orientation to it, so it's okay. You are best off not using something that's got an orientation, because you're using strips of paper that go down one side and up another. So if it is right side up on this side, it would be upside down on the other side. So try not to use something that is too terribly directional. Something with words on it, probably not a good idea for this project. Definitely. And you also need some regular cardstock. You will need a paper trimmer, and you will need some tear and tape. Now, I prefer the tear and tape. You don't actually have to use just tear and tape. You could use Seal Plus. I don't actually have Seal Plus either. I do have Stamp and Seal, but I don't think that this would be quite sturdy enough to hold. So Seal Plus, but tear and tape really is super easy. So I'm going to go with that. So I have the dimensions written out, and I will, when I put this up on my YouTube, I will put this also up in the comments here later. I will put the dimensions as well. But these are the dimensions that you need. So of your Designer Series paper, you will need 4 strips that measure 1 by 7 inches. And then you will need 2 cardstock strips, one for the band around the basket and one for the handle, that measure 3/4 of an inch by 8.5 inches. My original one said that I came up with said 9 inches, but you know, 8.5 is way better because your cardstock naturally comes 8.5. So I'm going to just set that up there. I'm going to take my Designer Series paper, and I'm going to cut it first so that it's 7 inches long. Nice little scrap to use some other time. And then I need to cut 4 1-inch strips. 1. So one of the things I really like about this project is that you'll get to see both sides of this paper. You don't have to choose one or the other. You get both. The only thing you have to choose is which one is on the outside and which one is on the inside. So I have my 4 strips. And then I need, of cardstock, I need 2 strips that measure 8.5, and that's already 8.5 there, by 3/4. So there's one. And here's another. I'm all done with my paper trimmer, so I can get that out of the way. Another helpful hint is, because these cardstock pieces are going to be either in an arc for the handle or a circle for the basket rim, you want to sort of train the cardstock to bend that way without wrinkling. So you can just rub it between your fingers and you can see it starts to curl. You can also use a bone folder if you'd like to, but I find, it's like curling ribbon. So I've got some nice bend to that piece going. And I've got nice bend going to the next piece. Now the only problem is bent so much that it's a little bit harder to apply the tear and tape, but we will make it work. So what I love about tear and tape is it really is easy to use. It tears very easily. I'm going to put 2 lines up here, and that is because I want it to hold a decent amount of weight. So I want those Designer Series paper strips to really stick to it and be secure. So there we go. This really is this simple of a project. So now that you've got the tear and tape on, you're going to remove the backing. For those of you who are on here usually on Friday nights, you know I give away the project that I create. Not tonight, sorry. It would take a box to mail this thing, and that's just not going to happen. So now you're going to take your first piece of Designer Series paper, and you're going to line it up with the edge and the top. Wait. I'm quickly going to change this because I don't actually want that side to show. I want what's on the outside, I want to show down. Sorry. I was lost for a moment. And I'm going to cover that little white piece right with my handle anyway, so that's fine. So now I want to take the next piece, and you want to butt that right up against the edge and make sure it's lining up all the way down. That way you know it's straight. If it was crooked and overlapping, that would be a little bit of a problem. Take the third piece. Hope I'm not losing anybody with the complexity of this right now. And then the fourth piece. So granted, this is the easy part, right? The next part is not all that hard. It will just take a little bit of finesse. Not a lot either. I will warn you that in the middle of it, it's sort of, you'll think this is not going to look good. But I promise you, it turns out fine. So you're going to take your first strip that you laid, and you're going to bring it around and line it right up next to the other one. And then you're going to take the second strip that you laid, and you're going to bring that up and around right next to it. And then you take the next one. It gets a little bit hard, and it's probably harder for you to see as I keep going along here. The last one will be a challenge to catch on camera. I'll have to pick it up, I think. And then you bring this last one around, and let's see if I can get it on camera here. I'm just lining that right up against the other one. I'm just waiting for the lag in my computer to catch up to make sure it's working. It is. All right. So it gets a little tricky towards the end because the paper really is kind of right up against itself. Now I do notice that this little end, that's going to tie it right over here, but I don't quite have enough tear and tape there, so I'm going to take a little bit more. It got away from me. And just put that on the end there. If I had gone right to the end initially, I would have been fine with that. And then you just fold it over here, and you're good to go. Now, if you get a little bit, if you start paying losing a little tension and you might get a little excess up at the top here, you can just trim that off too. And then you have your box. Now sometimes I feel like I have to just sort of do this, honestly, and that kind of evens stuff out. I have tried, and I don't think I have the, oh, see, on this one I put a little bottom in it. I actually would not recommend it. It doesn't seem to help, and it's a pain to kind of get that straight in the bottom because of how everything moves. But I've got this little basket here, and we just need to attach the handles. So I will attach it on this one, because that's the seam side. So if I'm going to do anything funky, it's where, I'm going to let funkiness happen where it likes to happen. And then I'll do it on the other side as well. I just need a little bit, probably 2 strips. They just happen to go the other way. Now my handle attaches like this, so I want it on the outside of the curve. All right, so I told you tonight would be so quick. Is this not a super quick little project? Think about what you could do, who you could give this to. You could make so many, I don't know about you, but I have so much designer series paper laying around that I could easily make one of these May baskets probably for every person in a local senior center or nursing home and still have a lot of designer series paper left. This would be a really cute gift for kids to give their teachers. Anything. Now, if you wanted to reinforce these handles, you could certainly use a brad or something else. But, unless you're going to put some, bricks in here, rocks in here, this is going to hold up just fine. But, it holds a decent amount of stuff. I'm going to put my little green glue in there. I don't know what else I could put in there, but it holds a good amount. That probably holds what would be considered 3 or 4 servings of Hershey Kisses. My personal go-to for treats that I give out. But there you go. And so that is the medium. So those are the dimensions for the medium. And again, I'm going to put these dimensions on my website. I'll put them on Facebook. Once this video posts, I will have it in the comments. Here are the other 2 sizes. So if you wanted to make this large one, which really is quite large, it's 4 pieces that measure 1 1/4 by 9 1/2, 4 pieces of designer series paper, and 2 pieces of 1 inch by 11 inch cardstock. So the handles are bigger, the band is bigger. And if you wanted the small, this one's the small. Oh no, that's not the small. This one's the small. If you wanted the small, it would be 4 that measure 3/4 inches by 5 for the designer series paper. And the handles and the rim are, I think actually I made this one with 3/4 inch ones, but you could get away with 1/2 inch by 6 1/2 inches. So you can play with the measurements. You can make the handles longer or shorter. No handles at all. Kind of depends what you want to do. But such a cute little May basket, don't you think? A big shout out to my friend Kim Wilson, who gave me this idea. She did it for Easter, and I thought, oh, what a wonderful May basket, because by the time I saw it, it was too late for Easter for me. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. And if you do, many blessings. Go ahead, order from her, and enjoy your night. Stampin' Up! Has a brand new catalog coming out on May 4th. And if you don't have a demonstrator and you don't have a catalog, I would be happy to get you one. Just drop me your name and an address. You can private message me or email me at stamperhood@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Have a great night and happy Friday.